Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives. Time for another ranking video. Tonight I'm going to take a look at the discography of one of my favorite bands that's tied for second, Anthrax. And we'll start off with, remember these are in my opinion, and some of these are going to vary for some of us. But we'll take a look at my least favorite Anthrax right up into my favorite Anthrax. We're going to rank all 11 studio albums. And let's start off with Volume 8, The Threat is Real. This is on Ignition Records, and I believe this company went out of business too. Anthrax had a tough time. This was probably the lowest point in their career. They were probably struggling to sell albums and sell some tickets at shows or whatever. This album's got some good songs. Crush, Catharsis, where's that other one? Born Again Idiot. Some good tunes on here, and then there's some not so good tunes on here, like Toast to the Extras, which to me is a B-side all day long. This is a John Bush album that he sings on, which I want to reinforce that John Bush is one hell of a metal singer. I believe in my eyes that he fits Armored Saint better than he did Anthrax. Whereas if you changed Armored Saint singer and put Joey Belladonna in there, you'd have the same effect. But we'll get into all the albums here and what I thought of them, and some of it's timing for these guys for sure. There's the back of this one. Anyways, and next we'll move on to We've Come For You All. A bit of a return to form. I guess overall, just, I don't know, not their strongest effort, but overall a good album. Like I said, I like all the stuff they've put out, just some more than others. There's some great songs on here, like What Doesn't Die, Refuse to Be Denied. Safe Home is an awesome song. One of my favorites on here is called Strap It On. That's a great song. And this one came out in 2003 on Sanctuary Records, so I guess at the time they were kind of jumping around labels, and after they lost their deal with Elektra Records. Which brings me to their next album, Stomp 442. This would be their second album on Elektra Records. Didn't do so well as far as sales go. It's definitely not as strong as The Sound of White Noise. I guess this is the first album without Dan Spitz. I don't think Dan was a big factor in songwriting or lyrics, or he was a decent lead guitar player. So at this point they had, I know Charlie even did a couple solos on here. Dime did a couple solos. But some of it, I don't know. There's the backside. I do like songs like Riding Shotgun, Random Acts of Senseless Violence, American Pompeii, Tester. There's some good tunes on here, just not as good as their Elektra debut, Sound of White Noise. Coming in next is Fistful of Metal. Now, I did not buy this when it first came out. I went back after and kind of filled in the blanks with Anthrax, because I like to have if I like a band, I want their whole discography. This has got the classic early 80s metal sound. You got names on here like John Zazula, executive producer, produced by Carl Canetti. You might know him for producing a lot of other metal albums at this time, and the band The Rods that he's in. CD Preparation, Eddie Trunk. We all know that name in metal. There's the backside. This has got some good tunes, like the vocals aren't the highlight of this for me, for sure. And the way Anthrax, the direction they went in after, I see why Joey came in and as their vocalist. Neil Turbin, he does a good job, but just, the music is what gets me on here. It's just awesome. Death Rider, Metal Thrashin' Mad. We got a cover of Alice Cooper's I'm 18. Howling Furies, Soldiers of Metal. Lots of good tunes on this. So if you are an Anthrax fan, give this a chance. It's a good debut album, but I do see why they went on to make a change, and they went more in a thrashier direction than the debut was thrashy, but it wasn't. I don't know. It was more metal sound too. Okay, next up, Worship Music. So this is Joey Belladonna's return to Anthrax, as far as recording goes, and return to the band. I think they did a reunion show prior to this, and anyways, this is a great album. The Devil You Know, Fight Him Till You Can't. My favorite song on here is I'm Alive. Awesome song. Ends with a great tune, Revolution Screams. Great album. And this album features Rob Caggiano. He went on to join Volbeat now, which honestly is okay with me. I don't know if I totally like the direction that maybe, or the influence that he had in the band. I think maybe he took them a little, I don't know, a little off course here and there. Anyways, moving on to For All Kings. Now this is a fantastic album. This has got some great tunes, and compared to Worship Music, this is just a notch up for me, maybe 0.5. And this one came out in 2016. It was one of the really great releases of 2016, along with a lot of albums came out that year. Megadeth's Dystopia came out, and a bunch of other ones. But this has got some great songs. I just think this is a little touch better in my eyes than Worship Music. Okay, next up. After 1990, Anthrax made a vocalist change. They recruited John Bush from the band Armored Saint, which you all know Armored Saint. I was excited and maybe disappointed a little bit. I mean, Armored Saint just came off of the best album to date, Symbol of Salvation, which is in my top 10 for sure of all time albums. I love that album. Love John Bush. And here we go. Sound of White Noise. This is an awesome album. There's so many good tracks on here. Potter's Field, Only, which is just a masterpiece of a song. Room for One More, Package Rebellion, Black Lodge. This was also produced by Dave Jordan, who actually produced Symbol of Salvation too. So he worked with John before. I wouldn't call this a thrash album. It's more of a groove style metal. And with John's voice, they had to go this way. And the time that this came out, 1993, let me double check for sure. Yes, 93. Things were changing. We had the grunge era, and these guys were just trying to fight to survive. And this is a heck of an album. And thrash was kind of losing a little steam at the time. So anyways, that's my next up in my ranking. Okay, the next four albums we get into the heart of Anthrax for me. Again, I'm a Joey Belladonna Anthrax fan first and foremost. No disrespect to John Bush, because as I told you before, he is one heck of a metal singer. and an awesome guy. So next up, Persistence of Time. This is a bit of a darker album for Anthrax. I don't want to say more grown-up lyrics or anything like that, but it's just more serious, but a great album. Time, Blood, Keep It in the Family, In My World, Belly of the Beast, Got the Time. I've told you before, I'm not much of a covers guy, but this one passes the test. This is a great cover. You know, that opening bass line riff is just deadly. There's the back. So this was released in 1990. Now we're getting into the last three here. Next up for me, and this was released in 88, State of Euphoria. I absolutely love this album. It's more of a light-hearted approach than its predecessor, Among the Living, but I love it. Every song is good. Be All, End All, Out of Sight, Make Me Laugh, even the Antisocial covers. Let's say that one passes the test too. It's really good. Now It's Dark, Finally. I mean, it just goes on. This is produced by Mark Dodson and Anthrax, engineered by Alex Perialis. Mark Dodson's name you might know from a couple of Suicidal Tendencies albums that I really enjoy. He did, I believe, one or two Metal Church. His name's up there in the metal category for sure. Great album. Love this album. Next up, now the last two, again, it's almost a coin flip, but I gotta give second place to Spreading the Disease. I did buy this about 6 months after it came out. This is one of my first real thrash albums that I owned. This is an awesome album, start to finish. And, you know, new vocalist, Joey Belladonna at the time. In a way, his voice did take a little getting used to, but it didn't take long, I'll tell you. Fantastic album. AIR, Lone Justice, Madhouse. I mean, you guys know all these songs. Enemy, Armed and Dangerous, Medusa. It just goes on. This is produced by Carl Canetti and Anthrax. So you see Carl Canetti's name come up on lots of these early releases in the 80s. Fantastic album. So that only leaves one. We all know which one that is. Not a lot can be said about this other than in 86 I'm like, how are they going to follow this up? And they did. Anthrax, Among the Living. This is a masterpiece in my eyes. So is Spreading the Disease, but this is just a killer album. Among the Living, Cotton and Mosh, I Am the Law, Indians, One World. This is just awesome album. There's the back cover. I kind of got inspired to do this. You know, a couple people had asked me what I thought of Anthrax, but I got a little inspired when I bought this. Anthrax, Kings Among Scotland, where they do play. And this is kind of a, you don't know what you're holding this one, but this is kind of a little tribute to Kiss's Rock and Roll Over cover for sure. Great artwork. The B side of this is where they play the whole Among the Living album in its entirety, and they end with Antisocial. They throw that in there. Disc 1 is just some of their newer songs mixed with old. We got Evil Twin, Medusa, Blood Eagle Wings, Fight 'Em Till You Can't. Great version, live version of Be All End All, one of my favorite Anthrax tunes. But anyways, if you haven't picked this up, this is definitely worth the purchase too. So there's my thoughts on the band Anthrax. Again, one of my favorite bands. Kind of from '86 on, kind of grew up with these guys. You know, some lineup changes, things like that I've talked about. But overall, just my opinion. Tell me your thoughts below. And thanks for watching, you guys. It's a lot of fun. And that's it. Stay heavy.